box it in real quick. Shoot, and somebody that needs to decide to retire and stay retired and not come back and is causing a large impact in his boxing career is Floyd Mayweather.
You know, let me play devil's advocate for just a second. I don't think Floyd can do anything to jeopardize his boxing career. I feel like Floyd is – I think it's true if Tyson and all these guys keep doing it. But Floyd never lost.
I mean, I understand that Floyd never lost. But
he never cared about his – he don't care about being liked. He never did.
True. But what's his advantage of him
He's still a wife beater.
I mean,
yeah, you can't
I made this argument to him about you know, what if Logan Paul,
if he happens to get
a lucky punch, and I told him it's impossible. It's not going to happen. There's always a puncher's chance. Not when you're fighting Floyd Mayweather. There's not a puncher's chance. You don't. I give you. I mean this. I've taken 3 statistics courses in my life. I have a master's degree. I mean this when I say it. I give it a 0% chance that he's going to land a lucky shot.
Okay.
Or that he's even going to land a flush shot. Like, not going to. This is Floyd. I don't care if he's 50.
Yeah.
Logan Paul is not a fighter.
But that's the thing. I'm not understanding what's his advantage
Mayweather.
of wanting to even take this fight.
Well,
whose advantage?
Floyd's.
Well, I think
the advantage is he'll make $15 million in like 15 minutes, right?
He'll do that, and he'll also, I think, dispel this myth that, you know, there's this, as I say, actors do this all the time. All the world's a stage. They quote Shakespeare, and everyone tries to be actors. Yeah. And there's a lot of bad actors out there. All the world's a boxing ring is what's going on right now. And I think Floyd knocking out Logan Paul will put some context on reality for people. Because they're not thinking realistically. I'm in a couple boxing groups, and trolls will join, and there are people that are just like, well, boxing was always this fringe thing, and not that many people did it. I wonder how many, you know, greats are out there on the street that you don't know about, and it's so disrespectful.
That is a thing that's always. You hear people say that about basketball. There's probably somebody out there better than Jordan, but he didn't get the same opportunities that Jordan. No. Michael Jordan was fucking poor as shit.
Yep.
Growing up, what do you mean?
No. And when Jordan was at his best, what dude could you pull off the street and he'd beat Michael Jordan?
Shit. Same thing with fight. So that's an interesting point.
Okay.
To provide context to the world, that because I do think people get it mixed up.
They get very lost.
The difference between a professional fighter and you is pretty massive.
Yeah.
The difference between that professional fighter and Floyd Mayweather is even more massive.
True.
So the distance from you to Floyd, you may as well not even be the same species when it comes to fighting.
I mean, he just knocked out Conor McGregor just 2 years ago.
Yeah.
People act like that fight went the distance. It didn't.
No.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you think it got stopped too soon, he was about to go down.
Yeah.
He had 4 more rounds to get his face bashed in.
Right. I thought they stopped it too late. They could have stopped it a couple rounds before that. Conor wasn't even defending himself for the last 2 or 3 rounds. He could barely get his hands up. He was so goddamn tired, and Floyd just kept pinging his head back and forth. Let me go out on my shield.
It'd be so beautiful if Floyd knocks out Logan Paul
and
Conor picks up this fight with Jake Paul. Because I think it would ultimately put the nail in the coffin. It would say, okay, YouTubers that want to box, you can fight each other in your own league. If you want to fight Floyd Mayweather or somebody like that in the future, you have to go through the proper bell curve to do it.
Yeah. Now, would you want Conor or would you want Canelo?
Well,
oh my God,
the Canelo thing, I think.
Son of a bitch.
I don't think that Canelo to do this.
Do you think they would even approve that fight? I couldn't see. I'm being honest about this right now. The boxing
golden boy.
If they're willing,
no, I'm talking about the boxing commissions, the physicals. Like it's going to be.
If
Canelo could legitimately kill Jake Paul with one punch.
But if they're willing to let Floyd and Logan Paul fight,
then there has to be some.
Right, but Floyd's 45 years old. I mean, and I think that's the way that the health people would justify that. And Logan Paul is 6'3", 200-something pounds.
Yeah,
I mean
that's a whole other thing. Is that the whole weight class is completely off?
Canelo being the same size as Jake Paul.
Yeah,
Canelo weighs 180 pounds right now. Canelo's a light heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's surging. He wants to be the heavyweight champion in the world. I don't know if he'll ever get there, but he probably walks around 180, 190 pounds. Canelo does.
Mm-hmm.
He's bigger than Jake Paul. He'd kill him. Canelo would flatten him out, and he'd have to go get on a stretcher and be brought out the arena. No questions asked, unless he took it easy on him, which I could see happening. If you caught an exhibition fight and you're like, hey, look, don't kill the dude, knock him out. Floyd, to some degree, let Conor play around for a few rounds. No doubt in my mind he did that.
Any argument for Conor giving Floyd the slightest bit of trouble at any point.
Yeah.
He landed that haymaker, that uppercut. Man. The rest of Conor's punches would he would just tap his nose, and it was the most interesting thing to watch
Floyd
from a technical perspective. Was Conor would throw his jab, and of course it was a lazy jab; it had nothing on it. And Floyd would let him he would touch him on the nose. He would touch Floyd on the nose, and Floyd wouldn't even blink. He wouldn't flinch. He wouldn't try to avoid it. He would let him touch him on the nose because it was like he knew.
Have nothing behind
that this punch is. It's like I'm using your jab to establish distance more so than you are.
Mm-hmm.
That's how good Floyd is at fighting.
Man,
I hope he kicks Logan Paul's fucking ass. Now.
Yeah, I remember Conor was talking about it. Sorry, rather, and he said, "I'm used to setting up where my leg creates some sort of distraction." He goes, "Without the distraction of the leg, though." Landing a punch is hard as hell, and
it is.
He barely he hit Floyd maybe 3 times in that fight. 3 times, 1 clean shot, which was more than a lot of people thought was going to happen.
True.
In 2 other shots, I don't think he touched Floyd.
No.
Outside of that,
man.
And Logan Paul will have no better success than that.
That's what I figured.
Conor was a pro fighter.
Yeah. Conor is a pro fighter, and Logan Paul is not. Logan Paul. He lost to another YouTuber, for God's sake. So my argument against it is I think Floyd is turning himself into a bit of a circus act doing this shit. I don't think, to people like me who think Floyd is incredible, this isn't going to damage his 50-0 legacy.
Yeah.
Right? To the people who can't stand Floyd, think he's, Floyd is one of the most underrated, great athletes I think ever. Like I hear people just regularly just dismiss him like
he's nothing but.
Floyd is one of the best ever.
Yeah.
I think doing this clown shit, these exhibitions, the kickboxing when that shit was ridiculous. Now this shit with a YouTuber I wish he wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I get wanting to make the quick money. I totally get it.
Because that's what it really is. It's a cash grab.
My biggest argument against it would be fuck Floyd, fuck all that. It takes away attention from some really good fights that I want to see.
Very much so.
That's my biggest concern is right now, Spence and Terrence Crawford have open schedules.
Yeah.
They need to fight.
Yeah.
But they also know that their ratings, Bob Arum and them know that if there's bigger, partiality shows out there, which would be Pacquiao fighting McGregor or whatever, it would hurt our bottom line.
Yeah.
They learned this when Floyd fought Conor McGregor. It hurt that Canelo fight the weekend before. People didn't buy the Canelo fight because it's expensive.
Yeah.
It's $100. Yeah. It totally hurt it. So there is that argument that maybe you guys should tell people this is a clown show.
Yeah.
From the get-go. Don't say it's a professionally sanctioned boxing match.
Exactly.
Does that mean you got to wear headgear or something? Maybe. But suiting them up and having them walk out and having Bruce Buffer come out and do a full entrance and run down to their careers. What they did with Jake Paul was disgusting.
Yeah.
This man is 1-0. I don't give a shit about his in Nate Rock. They should have just been like, this is their debuts. I don't even give a fuck, man.
Yeah. And the Tyson versus Jones thing, Max Kellerman pointed out that they had more pay-per-view buys than Triple G versus Canelo.
Wow.
I was like, oh, that's really not good.
No.
Fuck.
That hurts boxing.
I was like, that's really, but again, the consumer, makes the decisions.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to see Tyson versus Jones. Not as many people wanted to see Triple G versus Canelo, is what that tells us. So, but then what do we do with that, right? When you think about the massive problem with that, you want your current stars to sell more than these guys are in their 50s.
Yeah.
I think it,
and they outsold your two. Triple G versus Canelo is one of the biggest fights of the last
Darwin
10 years.
Yeah.
Darwin will prevail. People will get
tired,
jaded, and disenchanted with these notions. Oh, another celebrity is going to try to be a boxer.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to become like a Vegas show after a while. And I think people are going to, for whoever it brings into boxing, they're going to not be satisfied with that. They're going to go watch a highlight clip of Canelo or something and be like, oh, that's boxing at its highest level.
Yeah.
So I think in the long run, it's not that big of a deal. But for the next 2 or 3 years, while we're locked in our houses and we have nothing better to do with our time, and we're all just glued to our
and looking for
phones,
entertainment,
yeah, you're going to want to watch a YouTuber fight a boxer. I don't think it's going to last. I mean, when celebrities started first playing in the Celebrity All-Star Game, it's a huge deal.
Yeah.
Now no one bats an eye.
Yeah. All right, guys. So we're going to end it right there. Of course, if you like the content, you like what we're doing, go ahead and like, subscribe. Also hit that notification button right underneath this video. That's how you're going to be able to know exactly when each one of our content is going to be launching. Also, thank you all. We appreciate you all taking your time out to listen to us, watch us. Of course, welcome to the family, and we'll be with you all soon. Peace.